Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Mark. Thanks for checking us out. Most of us are loyal GM customers if you follow this channel, and as much as we appreciate their vehicles and the impact that they've had on the automotive industry, there are a few things that GM is doing wrong. In this video, we will focus on those 5 things and what GM needs to improve. So let's get at it. Five of my list is order tracking, right? Nobody knows when, right? So in the age of instant gratification, GM appears to be out of step in certain areas, rather than providing the sort of on-demand information and clarity that today's customers expect. The current GM ordering tracking process is not that great. It's cumbersome. It's vague. It fails to connect with customers with the info that they want, right? So, for instance, for those of you who haven't bought a car in a while, right? The customer decides to order a new vehicle rather than picking one off the lot, which today might be okay now, but a couple of years ago it was pretty tough, right? Customer makes a down payment, right? Receives their GM order number, and it's at that point that the customer is basically thrown to the wolves. We get numerous, comments and reports of GM customers, GM customer care not being helpful. Customers turn back to the dealer for updates, and it came from the dealer. And in my thing, right, a sale is not a sale until the car is delivered. So, but just the whole GM tracking thing is not great, right? So it needs to improve. So number 4 on my list is cheaper looking interiors in the lower end trim trucks. I don't know why this bothers me as much as it does, but that whole center section of that dash has kind of always bothered me. It's, I'm okay with a lot of it, with the rest of what comes in the lower end truck, but that whole center section just it needs to be refined. If you compare it to a Ford XL with an STX package, GM doesn't offer any interior upgrades on a lower end trim like Ford does, and I think GM needs to fix that. You know, Going through trying to build a new truck, it's all appearance packages on the outside, and none of it is on the inside. And I think that GM could take a cue from Ford on adding some value options to the inside of the truck, as it's one of their biggest markets, right? I think GM needs to fix it. So number 3 on my list is making more affordable vehicles, electric or otherwise. And this is kind of a two-part thing, but I've condensed it into one. The whole forcing electric vehicles onto their customers and not, I'd rather have a choice, but maybe we can save that for another video. But, you know, up until recently with the tracks, which, you know, I'm okay with it being built in Korea, but really the tracks seems like it's going to be a home run for GM. But prior to that tracks, the Sonic was the most affordable car. I own a Sonic, brought it brand new in 13. It's our other daily driver, and great little car, right? But having the Bolt and then discontinuing the Bolt and saying it's coming back. Even the Bolt's $42,000. Our Sonic was 20 grand. And it's a great little car, good on fuel, but GM, like Ford and everybody else, has kind of abandoned affordable vehicles, and I think they somehow need to get back to that with staying with that tracks, but hopefully having it made in the U.S. because that Korean-made vehicle will turn a lot of people off. So for number 2, I have GM engines and oil consumption issues. And GM really needs to address this. And while GM is not alone, I don't follow Dodge so much, but having an F-150, it kind of follows some of the Ford stuff too. Um, Ford is just up there with GM, but GM seems to be at the forefront because it's been going on for so long, right? Got a comment from Kenny the other day on one of our other videos saying he's got a 2022 Denali and the thing's going through a core oil about every 1,700 miles. And GM's telling them, like, oh no, it's normal. It's not normal, but it needs to be fixed. GM's losing customer confidence in one of their biggest markets for sales and profitability, and they keep pissing their customers off, right? And it's not just in the V8s. We're seeing problems obviously in the Turbo 4s, the 3.6s, right? Timing chains, turbos going prematurely. GM needs to get a handle on this because they're going to start losing market share if they don't start addressing the problems that have been going on, taking care of customers, and dealing with the current ones, because they're going to start turning into a laughing stock like Dodge did in the early 2000s, where they knew there was problems with all those Hemi motors and did nothing to fix it. So, guys, before we get to number one, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the continued support for the channel. We really can't do this without you. All your likes and all that, and your shares and watching the video really helps get it out there in the YouTube universe. And, you guys are the reason why we keep doing this. So, what's coming up? We just about got our Firebird picks done, and our August news should be out late next week. So, look forward to that. And just again, can't say thank you enough for all the support. We got a pile of subscribers for July, and we're looking forward to August. So thank you. So, guys, for my number one of five, and that is the marketing of the Camaro. And still to this day, I cannot figure out. I can only look at the obvious. I can't figure out why the failure. And I don't mean it as a failure. The people who buy this car love this car. It's getting the people to buy this car seems to be the problem. And if I compare that to a fifth generation, I have to go back and look at marketing. Marketing is one of the big things. We had SLP at the time, which is now SVE, involved with GM and doing all that, where you can order that stuff right out of, from the dealership. And now GM has kind of done their own with Chevrolet Performance and done a great job. But the marketing of it seems to be lacking, has always been lacking for this generation. People say, well, there's nobody buying sports cars. Well, people are still buying sports cars. If you look at Mustang numbers and Challenger numbers, there's still people out there. GM just needs to capture more of those people and put them towards Camaro. So this is the big thing for me, and I've never understood it. So hopefully the next Camaro that comes out, or they claim the next Camaro that's coming out, is hopefully not electric, and hopefully we can improve on some of the failures from the sixth generation cars. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support for the channel, and we'll see you soon.